All right, what is going on, Laker fans? Thank you very much for tuning in. This is the Hoops Talk post-game show. I'm your host, Alan Sliwa. Timberwolves over the Lakers, 97-87. Another loss for the Lake Show. Obviously, they're playing this one without LeBron James, so everybody knows that. A big difference from the last time that the Lakers played the Minnesota Timberwolves. If you guys remember that game, 109-80, but you don't get effort points. You don't get it doesn't show anything in the standings. It's still another L for the Lakers. They're 3-8 in their last 11 games. We got a lot to get into. Looking forward to talk Lakers basketball. I was talking about it this morning. I haven't done a post-game show, obviously, since that Lakers-Blazers game on Sunday. So Lakers get about 5 days off. So for anyone out there that was ready to watch Lakers basketball and talk about it, obviously it's great to have Lakers basketball back. Unfortunately, it is another L for the Lakers. So we're going to get into it. We're going to get a chance here in a little bit. I'm sure sooner than later, as soon as they get to JJ Redick and we hear from some of the refs, or I'm sorry, from the coaching staff, we'll get into it. So we're going to get into all that. There's a lot that I want to talk about here. I mean, I don't know if this is going to sound a little desperate, and there's going to be some Laker fans out there saying, Al, what the hell are you talking about? But I understand if that is the idea and the concept. Gotta be honest with everybody. Even though it's a loss, I actually like the way the Lakers fought. Even though I don't think Lakers ever even had a lead in this game, I kind of like the way the Lakers fought. It was a sloppy game. It was an ugly game. I think one of the things that it showed more than anything else is there's not enough talent. There's not enough talent on this Lakers team. And I'll get into some excuses that I have, but really at the end of the day, this is unfortunately the situation that the Lakers are in. I don't know if it's going to get any better. I can't keep sitting here and telling you, yeah, but when Vando comes back, we're about to be in January. We know he's not coming back until at least the earliest January. Christian Wood, Jackson Hayes, LeBron doesn't play tonight. There's a lot of guys that are obviously not there for the Lakers. LeBron being the interesting one because it's been 2 straight games that he's been out. But at the end of the day, the one thing that I'll say we won't say about this game, nobody's going to say that this Lakers team didn't fight. Nobody's going to say that this Lakers team didn't have effort. What they are going to say is it's just not good basketball. There's some clumsy mistakes in boxing out and grabbing rebounds. 22 turnovers. You guys want to tell me the last time that you guys watched an NBA game and you had 22 turnovers and still won the game? Like, that obviously is not going to happen. So there's a lot that comes into a game like this. And I think for me, there are some good things. And the good thing just is as simple as, hey, you know what? The Lakers didn't get their asses kicked. They didn't get blown out. LeBron doesn't play in this game. That, believe it or not, is a good thing. But at the same time, it doesn't mean anything. It's another L for the Lakers. I think if I saw it right, Spectrum had said something. They had said something right out the gate. It was something in regards to the standings. And I want to say they might be about a half game out or a game out of 12th place or something along those lines. Let me take a quick look. Unfortunately, I can't get a box score right here. Yeah, they're in 10th right now at 13th and 12th, so Minnesota jumps them. Sacramento's 13 and 13. San Antonio's 12 and 12. So that's what they were meaning. Half a game out of that number 12 spot. That's how close San Antonio, the Kings, the Lakers, the Suns, the Timberwolves, all these teams are. I'm going to have to get my hands on I see it here. Austin Reeves, 18.6 of 16. But ESPN does not have the box score, so I'll just have to find it here as we go. So as this goes on, I'll get into the specific stats. If you guys listened to me this morning, I said that if they're going to win a game without LeBron James, 3 things were going to happen. And one of those was Austin Reeves, going to have to play in the game. He was available. That Anthony Davis and Austin Reeves were going to have good games. One of those, I thought Reeves was okay. You could tell the guy hasn't played in 5 games, so you could tell he wasn't, completely fresh or anything along those lines. I'm getting a chance here to pop up the box score on NBA.com. But just looking here real quick, I just want to see Austin Reeves' stats. So Reeves, 6 of 16 from the field. That's not good. 4 of 8 from the 3-point line. That's really good. And because he hasn't played in so long, I'll take 18, 6, and 5. The other side of it, Anthony Davis, I don't think that's another player that you basically just had to have a good game from, 23 and 11. D'Lo was the other player that I thought, at least in my head, D'Lo's going to have to go off tonight. if Lakers are going to win games, and they're going to have to try to do it, obviously without LeBron James in the lineup, D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, and LeBron and Anthony Davis all got to have really good games. AD was okay. Nothing, too crazy. He was phenomenal on the defensive side. I give the Lakers a lot of credit on the defensive end. Austin Reeves, really good from three, but not efficient from the rest of the field, but did a lot of things to contribute. Okay. D'Lo, not enough. I mean, the 2 of 10, if you got a game without LeBron James and D'Lo's going 2 of 10 from the field, he was 1 of 7 from the 3-point line. What do you have? Just 1 assist as well. So D'Angelo Russell with 5 points, that's obviously not going to get it done. I don't have to explain this to you guys. Lakers are having so much trouble offensively over these last maybe 8-10 games. Another 87-point game for the Lakers, and that's kind of what they're known for, what Minnesota's known for. Minnesota's known for of getting stops, of playing defense. That's what their identity is. But if those are your big three coming into the game, if the three best players that you have on your team is Anthony Davis, Austin Reeves, and D'Angelo Russell, then obviously that's not going to get it done. Specifically, D'Lo, that's not going to get it done. I like the effort from a lot of the guys. I do. I hate saying it, but I like the effort of guys like Max Christie, who had 15 points tonight. I like the effort of even Gabe Vincent, who really didn't kill it on the offensive side, 6 points, but I thought he was all over the place on defense. I like the minutes Cam Reddish gave the Lakers. I like the minutes Christian Koloko gave the Lakers. I just like the hustle. I like that these guys were working their ass off, and it wasn't one of those games where we were going to complain right at the game ended. We were going to complain about the effort. But like I said, without LeBron, you got to almost play perfect basketball. There have been some Laker fans that want to see what the Lakers look like without LeBron. Well, the ball is moving. Obviously, the ball is not sticking, but you can also tell that there's just not enough talent on this team. There just isn't. Even Minnesota, who I thought played really bad tonight too. Minnesota does not look impressive. In some of the games that I've seen, I know the Lakers have got their asses kicked in some games against Minnesota, so don't get me wrong. I understand that. But there have been games from Minnesota where it's just looked very average. Now, Julius Randle, 21 points. It took him 16 shots. Anthony Edwards left the game for a little bit. He took 20 shots and had 23 points. So they weren't anything crazy. I didn't think they were crazy efficient. Their bench was okay. Naz Reid had 10. Nobody really else contributed for them. So at the end of the day, looking at this Lakers team, they got a stretch here where it's not going to get any easier. We don't know when LeBron is coming back. I thought it was interesting with LeBron that the guy was out for 6 days and then also took this game off to make it 8 games or 8 days. That's a little bit concerning. I don't know what that tells me. Does that tell me that LeBron's still not 100% healthy? Does that tell me that, he had personal reasons during the week why he didn't show up to practice? I'm not sure. But for the Lakers to win games, and if LeBron's not there, I don't need to tell people how difficult that's going to be. And for those who had curiosity of what it looks like without LeBron, you got a lot of guys that are just not talented enough. That's the best way that I can put it. It just doesn't look like talented enough basketball from my perspective. Let's take a look at some of your comments here. And then as we go, and as soon as we get an idea on JJ Redick talking, we'll go to JJ. Appreciate you guys being a part of the show. By the way, just real quick, channel just got to over 27,000 subscribers. I appreciate everybody that's been hanging out. Obviously, the audience here from years of doing the post-game show, now me adding that Monday through Friday show that I'm doing from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. So thank you very much for being a part of the show. If you've yet to subscribe, please subscribe. Understand that I'll do everything I can to try to give you guys the right content, and we'll certainly roll up my sleeves to make it happen. All right, a couple supers here that I want to get into. AR, Slee, I don't even know where to start. I'll let you go on with the show. I need a therapy. Please give it to us. Thank you, boss. AR, thank you very much for the super. I appreciate that. I think reality is starting to kind of set in with the Lakers. I think that if the Lakers are going to turn things around, they're going to need LeBron, Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, Rui Hachimura, Anthony Davis. They're going to eventually need Jared Vanderbilt. They're going to eventually need Jackson Hayes to be around as well. We'll see what happens with Christian Wood. if things are going to turn around, they got to basically play not perfect basketball, but great basketball night in and night out. That's what they're going to need. They're going to need their guys. They're going to need players to step up and perform. They're going to need a lot of healthy players at the same time. You can't commit 22 turnovers. You can't play as sloppy as the Lakers did. Minnesota might have been sleepwalking, just knowing that, hey, LeBron's not even here. We're going to win the game either way. It could have been a little bit of that. But I would just say right now, I think the biggest thing that I take away from the Lakers is I don't know if it's all of a sudden going to turn around. I don't really have a reason to think why it's going to turn around unless, like I said, they start getting healthy. That depth, all of a sudden, guys come back. Now you have a little bit more depth. A lot of other guys are starting to step up. That's the only way that it's going to happen. If it doesn't happen that way, I'm not really 100% sure how it's going to turn around as well. But AR, I appreciate the super there very much. Let's get into a couple more here. No timeline for LeBron's return. What'll be interesting is if we hear anything from JJ, probably not. I don't think we'll hear that. I need earliest we're going to get probably some report back. Lakers don't have a game until Sunday. Kind of odd. This one game in Minnesota, then they come back, a home game against Memphis, and then they go back out on the road. Memphis is going to be a tough game too. I mean, you go look at the standings out there. Memphis is one of the elite right now in the Western Conference. What Memphis is sitting at? They're at 17-8 are the Memphis Grizzlies. They've won 3 games in a row, and they're 9-1. So that game on Sunday, it's not going to get certainly not going to get any easier. So go back to the timeline for LeBron. Beast Mode, thank you for the super. So the time frame is this. Tomorrow, we'll probably get some kind of an update, and whether it's questionable, probable, or doubtful, or whatever the Lakers decide, they'll give you some kind of report tomorrow. And then, Sunday we're going to see him play. I'll tell you this. If he can't go tomorrow, or if he can't play on Sunday, then there's definitely something different going on with Bron. It's not just it's definitely not just that means he's injured. Because I don't know of LeBron who would take off the Portland game, would get a total of 6 days off, and then decide after 6 days, I'm going to also take off the Minnesota game, knowing that, Lakers are probably not. The Portland game, you could say, well, Lakers are going to win that game, so we're all good. Minnesota, you're not beating the Minnesota Timberwolves without LeBron, and that's not even a great team. They're just an average team. We already saw the Lakers play with LeBron against Minnesota, and we know what happened. So if he's not able to go on Sunday, something's wrong. That means that foot problem he's got is worse than they are leading on. But I'm just going to assume that if he plays on Sunday, then it was, hey, I just want to take advantage of getting a week off in the middle of the season, which I don't typically get to do. So whatever the case is, we'll have to wait and see. All right, let's take a look at another super. Alan, would you trade Reeves plus 29 first for Herb Jones? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't do that. I actually feel like there's a market for Reeves. He's under a really, really good contract. And if I'm gonna ship Austin Reeves somewhere, I'm trying to get a little bit more. And maybe I'm making it a bigger deal with other players to go get a player that is a solidified, bona fide, hey, that's the third best player on your team. Some nights he's going to be the second best player on your team. And that's a guy that I can also work on potentially to be with Anthony Davis down the road. If Reeves goes and I'm giving up a first rounder, well, why don't I just make it a bigger package and go try to get a player that I think can have impact for years to go? So I would not make that move. And I'm a fan of Herb Jones. And, I know New Orleans is in an interesting spot right now, everything that's going on with them and their situation. Let's get another one here. Appreciate all the supers, by the way. Kevin Brown, this team is an embarrassment. Last meaningful trade was February of 2023. Fans deserve better. Should leave Pelinka and Rambis on the tarmac in Minnesota. Well, I think we both know the answer to that. That's not going to happen. But the February 2023, you are right about it. I mean, I think there's also an exhaustion right now. It feels like from the players and it feels like from the fan base. Everybody feels like they all just know, yeah, this ain't going to pan out. Unless there's a trade that happens. Unless all of a sudden you get healthy and things just start clicking and you got all your guys back. And you still make a trade after that. But it feels like the vibe that I'm getting, the vibe I'm getting from Laker fans, the vibe that I'm getting from people that are watching, the vibe I'm getting talking to different people that cover the team and everything else. There's a little bit of this lull, like, well, what makes you think it's going to change? They're 13-12 now, and like I said, I think from a front office perspective, there should be a lot of pressure to improve this team. We'll see what they end up doing. All right, let's take a quick listen here. Let me get JJ Redick up here. Give me 2 seconds. JJ coming up here. Here's JJ Redick on the Lakers loss.
In a number of ways. Some passes that we tried to fit through tight windows. Never want to inbound the ball to the other team after a made field goal and give up a dunk. Some of it, not holding our positioning and timing our sort of physicality to get open on horns. I think we had 3 turnovers just on horns alone. Killed us.
I'm assuming that question was on the turnovers.
The benefits of the rest and the 4 days off from games. How much did you feel that, I guess, unintended consequences, side effects of just rust came back to haunt you guys tonight?
I'll give them some credit. That's what they do. And, not only do they have the physical makeup on the perimeter, they know that they can be aggressive because then there's Gobert behind there. So it's a lot of it is, their team. But overall, though, we were able to generate some great looks from 3. Just feels like can't really get into that rhythm from behind the arc, and another game where we shoot some good threes and just can't knock them down.
Is there anything that can be done about that? I mean, D'Lo had a wide open corner 3 with a chance to cut it late. Dalton badly missed a wide open 3. I mean, is there anything that can be done about this, or is it simply just keep creating the shots?
Yeah, I think you have to trust the process of running good offense and getting good looks, and trust that those shots will, in the aggregate, go in more.
You mentioned their physicality, and I've asked you a bunch about your team's physicality. Do you feel like you guys have made headways in terms of playing a more physical style, particularly on the defensive end?
Some of the guys have. Yeah, some of the guys have. Overall, I really thought that was probably our best defensive game we've had all season. Even when we got stops, turnovers, I don't know what it says we were 4 for 6 on fast break points. That's a lie. We just weren't able to convert on the other end, but we were able to get stops, get a lot of stops. Gabe, Max,
Cam,
Austin had a great clip of him at halftime. I think their physicality, Rui, their physicality is good right now.
All right, we'll stop it right there. I love some of the comments while this was going on. I'm going to highlight some of the comments here right now, and I was feeling the same way. JJ spit it out. Let us know. Where are we going, JJ? Where are we going? I know he's frustrated, but at the same time, I'm not sure what he's trying to say. Maybe it is just frustration. JJ's last same post-game words, laughing my ass off. JJ looks like he's worried. He's lost the locker room. I don't know about that. I think a lot of it's just going to have to do with, listen, let me say this about JJ here real quick. The guy ain't going anywhere. So anyway that says, JJ's not the right pick, any of that stuff, how do we know that? We literally have no idea. This roster has major flaws. I think everybody knows that. If you told me that this roster was it was flawless and look at how much talent there's, Lakers don't have that much talent. If we want to just simplify everything here real quick, go look at what JJ's working with. That starting lineup tonight was Anthony Davis, Austin Reeves, Gabe Vincent, Max Christie, and Rui Hachimura. That was the starting five. Guys, that's not good enough. It's just not good enough. And when LeBron eventually comes back, that might not be good enough. When Jared Vanderbilt eventually comes back, that might not be good enough. But they have no margin for error right now. They got to have everybody in the lineup. They certainly have to be a team that's connected and playing together. And that hasn't been the case. And I think it's very, very clear. It's very, very apparent. This team right now, as we're all kind of sitting there watching them on a night in, night out basis, it's not an enjoyable watch. It's not. But JJ's not the specific reason why the Lakers are now 3-8 in their last 11 games. And if you guys feel he is, that's okay. You can put it in the comments. You could say that you disagree. And if JJ made this change or that change, everything would be different. JJ's made changes. D'Lo in the starting lineup, D'Lo out of the starting lineup. Dalton Connect in the starting lineup, Dalton Connect out of the starting lineup. Throw in Gabe Vincent when you have times. Give other guys extra minutes to close out games. It's not like JJ is committed to one thing. And I don't feel like, and I've said this a few times, I don't feel like JJ Redick coaches with a stubbornness. Well, I'm just going to do this until it works. I feel like he's open to trying different things. That roster is not good. That starting five that I just gave you, and then coming off the bench, it was D'Lo that gave you 5 points, and Dalton Connect, that really has been a non-factor now for about 2 weeks. He went through that stretch, those 4 or 5 games. Everyone was feeling good about him. You guys know how I was feeling. I was cranking videos. I'm like, hey, this guy brings a whole different element to the Lakers that we didn't know that we had. Go see what he's done over the course of this year. Go see what Rui Hachimura has done on a night-in, night-out basis. Not 100% sure what he's going to give. Go see Gabe Vincent over the course of this year. That's not on JJ Redick. All these players were already on the Lakers. They were already on that roster where you guys can point the finger, which is completely fair. It was one of the supers that I read a little bit earlier. Let me find one of those comments here. This comment about they haven't made a move since 2023 and nothing's really changed. I think that's the right comment. That's more geared towards the front office, and it's on the front office's back before it's on anybody else's. AR, I don't want to be in JJ Redick's shoes. AR, I'll tell you this. Thank you for the super, brother. He's okay. I'd rather be in his shoes than some of these people from the front office perspective, because at least for Austin, or at least for JJ Redick, he's going to get at least a couple of years, and this is not on his shoulders. Has he been perfect? No, he hasn't. Has he had some very puzzling losses that leads you to believe that's going to be a problem? Sure, of course he has. Those losses that he had, the 41, the 29s, the 27s, the 25s, all those losses that they had. But tonight wasn't one of those games. I didn't feel like tonight was one of those blowout losses. Thank you, AR. Appreciate, again, the super there. Let's get another couple more of these. Slee, I don't think a trade would fix this. We were having a conversation, I think it was last week, and who was I having it with? Was I having it with Jovan? I think it was Jovan. Kobe Price, I know he was on earlier this week, having the conversation about, well, at what point do you say to yourself, is it worth making a trade? Is it worth giving up 2 first-rounders when you're not 100% sure, even if you do it, or even 1 first-rounder? Is it worth doing something without knowing that, hey, we're going to get some benefits out of this? My personal opinion, I still think you got to do something. There's still too much basketball left not to do anything. Maybe it doesn't have to be a blockbuster, but I still think you got to do something. Let's take a quick listen here to Max Christie.
I think it showed on the defensive end, but yeah, you could say rust a little bit, and then their pressure, you give them credit. They did a good job of pressuring us. They did a good job of disrupting our rhythm. So
first
15 games or so this season, you guys were every night consistently over 110 points. You've only done it once in the last 10 games. Where are you? Is there still trust in the process offensively in the room? Is it? I guess, what are you seeing on that end?
Yeah, I mean, nobody's given up on this team, first of all. And, as us as a unit, JJ said that this morning, everybody has belief in us still from a coaching staff. And I know we've had belief in each other. So that's there for sure. But I think offensively for us, we acknowledge it too after the game. We just got to be better. Our defense has given us chances to win games every single game we're in. And so tonight the turnovers was an issue. Other nights, it can be other things offensively, but it's just a little bump in the road that we got to fix. We got enough guys in this room and enough firepower to know that we can do 100, 110 points a game, like you said. So it's just a blip for us, and we're not concerned. It's a long season. We're over about a quarter of the way through, so we got 3/4 still of the season to go. So we're not worried. We got a lot of time to fix it, and we're going to be proactive with it for sure.
All right, that's we'll stop it there on Max Christie. He's positive. Give the man credit. Young kid, trying to make himself in the league. Again, more and more opportunities. I actually liked his game tonight, and I always appreciate his effort. I'll say this. I'll kind of jump into a couple things. I was looking here while Max was talking. I'm looking at some of the team stats. I don't know if you guys have seen a lot on the news right now. At least I feel like it's more in the independent space on YouTube. You got a lot of people out there that are having conversations about the NBA ratings and how the ratings, I want to say, are down. They're down big over the last 10, 12 years. And a lot of it is the style of the NBA. Actually, last Sunday, that was interesting. Last Sunday, Lakers are playing the Blazers. And once JJ Redick's done talking, we get to go into the opposing team's locker room or in a little presser area. We had to ask questions if we want to the coach of the opposing team. So Chauncey Billups, obviously the coach of the Portland Trailblazers. So it makes me think when I see Chauncey, I think Chauncey back in the days with the Pistons, obviously they beat the Lakers. That was a really, really tough, gritty team. Basketball wasn't pretty, but that was the style of basketball back then. And I asked him if, compared to the style he grew up under, what does he think about today's style of the NBA? I'm going to cut it a little bit short here. He basically said, he's not a fan, but you got to adjust. This was part of the evolution of the game. He gave some examples of guys on his team that have good mid-range jumpers, and you hit a couple mid-range jumpers, and they're kind of telling these guys, you keep shooting twos and they're shooting threes, we're going to end up losing by 21. So he's not a big fan of what today's game is. I'm looking at the stats right now. Tonight's game against Minnesota is actually a really good example of what is just an ugly brand of basketball. It doesn't happen every night. I mean, I'm a fan of the game. Maybe I get caught up in the I'm just a fan of the NBA and I'm a fan of basketball. So I don't maybe get caught into the minutia of it. But at the same time, watching tonight, Lakers shot 38% from the field. Minnesota shot 40% from the field. Lakers shot 28% from three. Minnesota shot 28% from three. Lakers had 22 turnovers. It's not good basketball. It's just ugly basketball. I don't really know what the rhythm is. I don't really know what the goals are. It always kind of, it's kind of funny to me. And JJ mentioned if you were watching the game, you saw the inbounds play. Minnesota scores, inbound, Lakers throw it to the opposing team. Jaden McDaniels, whoever it was, he gets a dunk off of it. It's like, the one thing that frustrates me is when a team gives up a bucket, they're so quick to want to push the ball up the floor and fire up another shot. It's so sloppy. And there's almost like no adjustment to why you gave up the bucket that you did. It's like, who cares? Let's just inbound the ball and go try to get another bucket. That's an ugly game tonight. 97-87, and the style of basketball and the 22 turnovers and little things. There's little things I watch with the Lakers. You guys saw it against the Atlanta Hawks. If you guys remember against the Hawks, it was, what was it? It was Anthony Davis really careless passes towards the end of the game. It was not boxing out on a jump ball. Like little small shit that you learn when you're in 8th grade. It feels like it's just kind of lost. It's not a part of the game anymore. All right, let's take a couple more here. 80 to Atlanta for Bogdan, Cap, our pick back 27-29 equals Tank. You guys not want to build around Anthony Davis? That's a conversation in itself. That might be a good one coming up on Monday, but I'm still a fan of AD. I still got no problem with the Lakers building around Anthony Davis, in addition to Anthony Davis. Are Laker fans out there? Are they? I mean, I'll just use that comment as an example. And J1, I appreciate the super very much. Are there a lot of Laker fans that are not crazy about, are they saying to themselves, no, let's go ahead and let's move on from Anthony Davis too? I'll take a look at some of those comments as we go here, because that's kind of fascinating to me. That's a little bit interesting. Progressive NBA sucks. It's just not a good brand of basketball. My issue is, I always used to talk about this. I'll probably never run into another person in my life that has more experience around the game than Michael Thompson. I did the Lakers radio broadcast, pre-post, all that stuff for 5 years. And with Michael, I did the pregame show with him for 5 years. That man grew up loving and watching the game of basketball. The guys like Wilt, he idolized Kareem. He played in the Showtime era with the Lakers. He was around the game for a long time. And then his son gets drafted by the Warriors, and he's still part of the Lakers radio broadcast. I'm never going to run into another person that I think will have more knowledge the way Michael Thompson does in basketball. And anytime I ask him, Michael, what do you think of today's game? He's like, there's no creativity to it. There's nothing happens in a game where you take a step back and you say, damn, that's good basketball. Now, you might see a squad like Golden State. The ball's always moving. There's constant movement. There's great team defense, not just them, but you could look at teams like the Oklahoma City Thunder right now. I think Boston, they're phenomenal defensively, but they also throw up, 50, 60 threes a game on some nights. But every time whenever he's told me that there's no creativity left to the game, it's like, I see where he's coming from. All right, let's see what else we got here. I was talking about the Anthony Davis stuff. Let's see what people have here. AD is talented, but he's soft mentally. I don't argue that. There are a lot of times that I think I watch Anthony Davis, and I've had this conversation before. I think I was doing it yesterday. How many different times over the 5-6 years he's been with the Lakers, there's been this conversation about AD, here's the keys. If you're a franchise player, you're not asking for the keys, you're taking the keys. AD, sometimes it's like you walk into the house and the keys are just sitting on the counter. It's like, AD, you grabbing the keys or not? Nah, I'm good today. Yeah, but it's your franchise. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to sit in the passenger seat today. And the greats, that's not how they're wired. LeBron's not wired like that. Kobe's not wired like that. Shaq's not wired like that. Kareem, Magic, Luka. Go look at some of the players right now. Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards seems like a guy that's basically, now I'm going to get shit done. And that doesn't say it's perfect. And I'll give you a great example. Anthony Davis, I might say what I just did. AD was phenomenal on defense tonight. Just phenomenal. But is he that guy that, give me the damn keys and everybody get out of the way? He's not. But that doesn't mean you still can't build around the guy. I'd rather go, when the time comes that LeBron either retires or whatever happens, you see all the different stories that are going on these last couple of days. Is he going to get traded? Does he want to leave? All the stuff. All right, let's just assume he's a Laker for at least the rest of this season. Whenever he decides that he's done, I would like Anthony Davis to continue being a Los Angeles Laker. It's just going to depend who you're going to bring in with him. And is that player you're bringing with him, is that the guy that says, I'll take the damn keys. Give me the damn keys. AD, come with me. Or AD, be side by side with me. All right, let's take a look here at some more of these comments. Yes, AD is still good. That means you should trade him. Okay. Interesting there. AD is not a superstar. He is a co-superstar. I'd argue if he's not the best two-way player in the league, he's top 3 two-way player in the league. All right, see what else we got here. Shaq era, Kobe era, Nick Young era, LeBron era. I like the mix of Nick Young there. Damn. Interesting. I'm still waiting for them to build around Bron and AD. Yeah, that portion hasn't gone as planned over these last couple of years. All right, let's get another one of these here. If AD talks, I'll point that out. Next 5 for the Lakers. They got Memphis. They got 2 at Sacramento. They got Detroit at home. Let me see here what's after that. I was just seeing it here on Spectrum. So they got Memphis, 2 on the road against Sacramento. They got a game against Detroit, a game coming up against the Golden State Warriors. That one's going to be on Christmas. That one's on the road. So they got a handful of games here that are still going to be tough. Memphis is going to be a tough game. Sacramento, to be honest with you, I don't even care what their record is. At Sacramento for 2 straight games, I'll take a split there just based on how the Lakers have been. I'll take a split there. All right, let me look at some more of your comments, and then I want to read something that I saw on Twitter a little bit earlier. Let me find this latest comment here. Rezo, thank you for the super brother. I appreciate it. It doesn't seem like many teams are playing with intensity, game in and game out. Sometimes they appear to be listless. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, the game it's also churned. I think the load management has bothered a lot of people. And I think the NBA is trying to figure it out. I saw something actually was really good, smart. Colin Cowherd had put something out there. Actually, no, I said it's not mainstream that they're talking about the ratings. Fox was doing it today. They were getting into it. And Colin Cowherd had put something out yesterday, today, whenever it was. And he said something to the effect that the ratings have plummeted in the NBA. And Adam Silver's solution is let's paint the court red. He's talking about that Houston Rockets game, whether it was yesterday, the night before. I couldn't even watch the game. I'm like, what the hell's going on here for the NBA Cup? So I thought that part was pretty funny. I think there's some people, you probably got to be a diehard NBA fan or a basketball fan to be watching games night in and night out right now. That's the truth. That's the reality. You probably have to be a diehard fan to be watching these games night in and night out. All right, Austin Reeves missed, obviously, a handful of games. Let's take a listen to him, see how he's feeling, and get his thoughts on the game.
Play before tonight, just because, with the injury that I had, it was tough to, really be on the court for the first, week or so with the, discomfort that I had. So the turnaround was really quick. But like I said, I was, really pleased with, how I felt and, how I played other than, a couple turnovers, a couple missed bunnies. But other than that, I thought I was, solid and felt really good.
You could argue that the defense was good enough to win a game, but where did the turnovers, especially, where did you see a lot of that coming out of, and how much of a problem was it?
Yeah, I think a lot of that, the first quarter, was my fault. Not having us organized, not being on the court, like the last 2 weeks. I thought, kind of left a little indecision in my mind, with some stuff that we could have been doing. So I got to be better there. But I thought after that we were, very solid. Obviously a turnover here and there, a couple missed, box outs on free throws. And those are really big plays. So, I'll watch film, I'll get better. And, like I said, I'll see what I can do to, help us be better in that aspect and, put, the team in, good positions to be successful.
Get one more here real quick.
He felt like, obviously after turnovers, you guys start to create some good looks. Process-wise, how did you feel about the offense in terms of what you guys are generating out there?
Yeah, I thought we did get a lot of good looks, in that fourth quarter, third quarter. When we didn't turn it over, just unfortunately we did make a couple of them, and it's a miss make league. If you miss a shot on one end, or miss 2 in a row, they have opportunity to make us have a 6-0 run, whatever. It's a very big momentum game, and tonight we just didn't have enough of those plays to win the game. But I thought we competed every possession to at a high enough level to win the game. We just didn't make enough shots.
All right, that's Austin Reeves right there. I agree with him. By the way, it's good to have Austin Reeves back. I'm a fan of Reeves' game. I know people have thrown out there, well, why isn't there more chatter about trading Austin Reeves. I think there's a couple of reasons. Number one, I think he's got good value. I think his contract's very reasonable. His contract's not expiring. I don't mind having Austin Reeves in the game. I think he's more consistent than D'Angelo Russell and Rui Hachimura and some of those other players that are on this Lakers team. So are there times where he's all over the place, his shooting inefficiency, throwing his kind of flopping all over the place? Sure. But for the most part, I don't mind Austin Reeves. There was something I read here. I took note of it. I was going to mention it on the show on Monday, and I'll get a little bit more into it. But NBA Central had put out this tweet. An anonymous Western Conference scout believes a team can't win with Austin Reeves as its third best player. I'm going to read the quote here. If he's your third best player, you're not a championship contender. You're just not. If you put Austin Reeves on the Oklahoma City Thunder or the Boston Celtics, he's probably the fifth, maybe even the sixth best player on those rosters. I don't disagree with any of that other than no, he's probably fifth on the Boston Celtics at best because you got Derek White. You got you got Porzingis there too. He's probably sixth on the Boston Celtics. OKC was splitting hairs. All right, he's fifth or sixth. Those are the two best teams in the league. If the goal is just win a championship or nothing, then that's accurate. And frankly, I do think that's a problem, that Reeves is the third best player on this Lakers team. I think he is. Third most consistent player on this roster. Yeah. How are you getting? You better have your fourth, fifth, and sixth player that are just as good as Austin Reeves every single night. Because if there's a gap, then there's some issues there, right? Then if there's a gap in what the talent is between your third best player and a couple of these other guys, or at least from a consistent basis, I agree. I do think that's a problem. And I think that does say something about this Lakers roster and how far they have to go before they are able to make some noise. Paul, Rui and D'Lo just need to go. I won't probably lose sleep if that happens. AD's trying to get in the back seat of a Ferrari. AD, you want to drive the car or you just want to get in the back seat? No, I think he's in the passenger seat. He's in the passenger seat. Not, and sometimes he takes the wheel. Sometimes he's like, hey, I'm in the mood right now. Other times he's eating sunflower seeds and he's got the windows down. You ever go on one of those long road trips? What's better than having the window down? You got your arm out and you're spitting some sunflower seeds. That's AD on part of the season. NBA needs to break up the Lakers for us. All right, here's another one. This team, the way it's playing currently, no LeBron. Hard for me to believe Memphis will not win by 20-plus points. I live in reality. No Dalton starting. No chance. Yeah, I just saw Spectrum had something here that, obviously he's missed his last two games, talking about Braun with his left foot soreness. I was forgetting which foot. It's a left foot soreness here. Okay, let's take a quick look at the schedule here. I do want to look to see if the Memphis Grizzlies, what are they playing right now? They are up 11 against Brooklyn, so that game is going on right now. They're home, so they're not going to have a game coming up tomorrow. So they'll have kind of good oh, no, I'm sorry. That game's already over. 135-119. So Memphis already won. They're 18-8 now on the season. Did they actually add that W yet for them? 18-8 or 19-8, one of the two. 18-8 is where they're at. So Memphis, second best record in the Western Conference. They'll be coming to LA coming up on Sunday. They've won 4 games in a row. They've won 9 of their last 10 games. I think everybody always knew that this roster was good. It was talented. It has Ja Morant. It has Desmond Bane. It has Jaren Jackson Jr. It added Marcus Smart last year. I think the question for them was just always health. So that game coming up on Sunday is at 6:30. It's going to be a 6:30 tip-off in LA. So the big question is going to be, will LeBron be available for the Lakers or will he not? We'll probably find some more information tomorrow on whether he's going to be available or not. All right, let me catch a couple more of these comments here real quick, and then we'll call it a night. All right, let's go down here. Vegas season win total of 43.5 might have been too high for the Lakers. People already saying that the Grizzlies are going to win that game. They've known the roster isn't good enough since getting swept in 2022, 2023, and did nothing. Guys, I got to be honest with you. I got anybody that wants to bitch and complain about the front office not making any moves. I got nothing for you. I can't argue against you. I agree with you. And the chatter and the conversation, if it is there, if there is conversation and chatter there about, well, maybe it's just not worth making a move. No, I still think they got to go make a move. You got to do something. By the way, you can always make moves as well to acquire a player that you think is going to help you next year and the following year as well. You could think a little bit big picture. It doesn't just have to be a guy on an expiring contract that you're just trying to get for a playoff run. But if they went last trade deadline plus the summer plus this trade deadline without doing anything, yeah, that's not a good look for everybody. That is not a good look for everybody. Okay, my people. I think that's all I got. That's it. 45 minutes in. You guys remember when I told everybody that I was doing the morning show Monday through Friday starting at 8 a.m. and part of me thought, hey, maybe if I do that, then I won't do postgame anymore. No, we're doing postgame. We're doing postgame. Every postgame show right here. If you guys have yet to subscribe to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. If you kind of don't know a little bit of my background, my story was with ESPN LA for a number of years, but now I'm 100% just exclusively on YouTube, enjoying doing it, loving doing it, kind of excited about growing my own brand and kind of making it happen here. So long way to go, but every day, just kind of roll up your sleeves and you go to work. So thank you for hanging out. Please, if you don't mind, subscribe to the channel, like the videos, and thank you for spending some time here on a Friday night, hanging out. And unfortunately, I know it's another Lakers loss, but nothing we can do about it. I'll be back on Sunday, Sunday night. Lakers, after they're done taking on the Memphis Grizzlies, we'll do this again. We'll see what's going on with LeBron. We'll see if he ends up playing. We'll see if the Lakers can get a W. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Have a great rest of your night.